Today, you're starting a brand new app that will teach you all of the basic skills for iOS app development. In this lesson, you're going to be building the user interface for that app. And then in the following lessons, I'm going to take you through the coding part so that you can add the logic and user interactivity to the app. Now, hopefully you've been following since lesson 1. And if you've been learning a lot, please show your appreciation by giving this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing so that you don't miss the next lesson. All right, buckle up. Let's go. Okay, let's go ahead and start a new Xcode project. Go to File, New, and let's choose Project. And then under iOS, we are going to select App. Now by this time, this should start feeling pretty familiar to you. I'm going to call this the War Card Game. Now, this time, we are going to come back to this project over several lessons. So make sure you name it something that you like and also save it in a location that you can remember because you're going to need to launch this project again. So you don't need to change anything with team, organization, identifier. Interface should still be Swift UI and language should still be Swift. You don't need to check any of the other options. Let's click next. I'm going to save it on my desktop so it's easy to find. You don't need to create a Git repository for this. Let's just hit create. And if you don't know what any of those options are, I would suggest you review lesson 2 because that's where we went through all of those options. Let me adjust this window just a little bit so we can see what's going on. And I'll shrink that a little bit and we will actually get rid of that inspector tab. Next, we're going to add the image assets that we're going to need for this war card game. So I've got the assets ready to go here in this folder. In the video description below, you'll find a link to a war card game image assets.zip file. If you unzip it, you'll see the same image assets. Now, if you're on desktop, you might need to expand the video description that's underneath the title in order to see the link. And if you're on mobile watching this on YouTube, you might need to tap on the title of the video to open up the video description, and then you can find the link. Once you have that zip file unzipped and you have all these assets staring back at you, I want you to highlight all of them. Notice that they're organized by folder, and those folders are going to be preserved when we bring them into our asset library. So in Xcode, let's go ahead and click on assets. And then back here, we're going to drag this and just drop it in there. You're going to see that this is preserved. And so it's really nicely organized. And if you've worked with iOS app development before, you might have seen that we did 3 different file sizes. However, these images, if you notice, they are SVG format. This is a special vector format where you can scale up and down these image assets without any loss of quality. So that's really neat, and we only need to have this one size here. Okay, after you've done that, let's take a look at the UI that we're trying to build. Now, based on what you've learned in the previous lesson, how would you break this user interface up in terms of what view containers or layout containers, if you want to call them that, which one of those are you going to use to lay out these elements? And second of all, which view elements are you going to use to represent each of these things that you see? Now, as an exercise, I want you to pause this video and try building this UI yourself inside Xcode. Trust me, by doing this exercise, you are going to cement your skills and you're going to identify what you need to review. Now, before you start this challenge, if you haven't watched the previous lesson, you can do so right over there. It's going to show you all the skills and techniques you need to accomplish this right now. Now, for each of the elements that you see in the UI right here, I want you to just use a Swift UI view element to display the images that you've just added to the project. Now, in terms of which view containers you want to use in order to lay out these different views, it's all stuff that you've used in lesson 3. So there are no surprises. And here are also some view modifiers that might come in handy. So pause the video now and try it out, and then resume it when you're ready to build it together. All right, how was it? Now, if you got it to look relatively the same, that's a win in my books. But if you struggled, that's also a good thing, because as you follow along and we're going to walk through it together, you're going to have context, and that makes a huge, big difference. All right, let's do it. Okay, here's what I see. We have a depth stack as the root element, also known as a Z stack or Z stack. And then we have an image, which represents the background. And then on top of the background, we have a V stack, which is going to contain everything, all of the elements that you see on the screen. Inside that V stack, first we're going to have the logo centered. And then below the logo, we're going to have an H stack containing 2 cards. And then below the H stack, we are going to have the button. And then below that, we're going to have another H stack. Inside that H stack will contain 2 V stacks. Each of the V stacks will contain 2 text elements representing the player label as well as the score. And then it's just a matter of adding spacers and padding to make sure everything looks nice and spaced out. Now, if you did it another way, that's perfectly fine too. Okay, let's implement this in Xcode. Okay, so here back in Xcode, make sure you have all these image assets added to the project if you haven't already. And let's go into the content view. Here we see the preview. This is all the default stuff. Let's get rid of that. Make sure you don't accidentally delete that bracket or else Xcode will be complaining. So you should have 2 opening brackets and 2 closing brackets right here. So I'm going to type out my view containers and views. You can feel free to use the library, just like I had shown you back there, if you haven't gotten familiar with just typing it out. Nothing wrong with that. So here we have our Z stack. I'm going to add an image, and this is going to represent our background. So I'm going to put background plain. That's the one. You could try out different ones. You could try out texture, for example. Wasn't that? Oh, it's called cloth. Sorry. No wonder. Cloth, wood, cartoon. I think this one was called. Yeah. Notice though, before I said that the image doesn't reach over here and over here. Those are, the safe area, right? Unless we put the modifier ignore safe area. So why is the image reaching all the way there now? And that is because it's displaying the image at its full size. All right, because we haven't added the resizable modifier to it. If we did, it would actually resize the image to fit the screen. So that's why the image is going full screen, because the image is actually larger. The native size of that image is larger than the screen size. So first of all, I'm going to go back to plain, and then I'm going to do resizable. And you can see as soon as we do that, we're allowing Swift UI to resize that image to fit the screen. And you can see that it doesn't go past the safe area. So we're going to have to add ignore safe area. Now for this type of background, it doesn't really matter even if it's, way too large for the screen, because you can't really tell. But if it's a landscape image like we had for the Niagara Falls image in lesson 1, 2, 3, lesson 3, you would see that it's like super zoomed in, right? So that's why we would have to add the resizable. And then if you wanted to cover the whole screen, you would do ignore safe area. Okay, so that's that. This VStack next is going to contain all of our elements. Like I said, first up is the logo. And there it is, beautiful logo. And then we have an H stack containing the 2 cards. So H stack, remember, lays things out side by side. So inside the H stack, we're going to have 2 cards. So I'm going to use card 2 and card 3. And there's a strategic reason why we named these the way we have: card 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to card 14 for the ace. You will see when we get to the later lessons where I show you some of the code and some of the logic, and you're going to learn how to apply that. Don't worry if you've never coded before. It's going to be really simple, I promise you. But naming the cards this way is going to make it easier for us as well. Next up we have, I'm just going to use images for now. For all of these elements, we have the button, right? And then we have the scores. Now, a single score looks like this: player, and then the score, right? But there were 2 of them, right? So what I'm going to do is create an H stack, right? I'm going to put the player label and player score inside that H stack, and then I'm going to copy this and paste it, Command C, Command V, to copy and paste, and then this is CPU. And there you have it. These are all of the elements that are on the UI. Now we just have to space them out. One of the easiest ways to space things out proportionately is to use spacers. Remember, a spacer takes up all available space. If there are multiple spacers, it divides the space up between them evenly. So, for example, if we wanted to space these items out vertically, to have an equal amount of space between all of these vertical items, in this VStack here, we could put a spacer just in between everything, right here, here, right between the logo, between the card H stack, between the button, between the scores H stack. So let's try that. I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to paste it a bunch of times. So you see, just adding a single spacer, it pushes everything down because it tries to get as much space as possible. So that's a great thing to do if you want things to be bottom aligned, for example. I'm going to add a second spacer under the logo. So now you can see it splits up the space between the two spacers. I'm going to add a spacer below the card H stack. Now it's divided by the 3 spacers. I'm going to put another spacer below the button. There you go. And finally, another spacer below the scores. So now everything is spaced out vertically, evenly. For these cards, I want to do the same thing. For the H stack, I'm going to put a spacer in between the 2 cards, which pushes them off to the side. But guess what? We're going to add a spacer to the left of that card and to the right of that card. And now they are spaced out evenly horizontally. Now we're going to do the same thing for the scores. We're going to add in this H stack a spacer like that, which pushes out to the side. Again, we're going to add a spacer to the left and to the right, so it divides the space up evenly. There we go. Now we're going to change some of the font colors and sizes. So why don't we first make everything white, the font white. Now I could apply them to each text element, but remember, if you apply the modifier to a view container, it affects all of the views inside of it. So I'm going to take a look at which outer parent view container contains all of those text elements, which happens to be this H stack, right? I could put on this V stack and this V stack, but if I put it on the H stack, then it applies to everything inside and I only have to do it once. So let's do foreground color dot white. You can see that all that turns white. It gets applied to that, and that, all 4 text elements. Now this time for sizing, I have to apply it to the individual text elements because I want them to, they're going to look a little different for each one. For the player, I am going to do font and I'm going to say dot headline. It's going to bold it a little bit. Same thing for the CPU label, font headline. It's going to make it a little bigger. For the score, I'm going to do font dot large title. Same thing for here, font dot large title. And then lastly, I want to add a little bit of space underneath the player label. So I'm going to add a second modifier under there. And this time, instead of just adding padding, which does padding on all 4 sides, what you can do here, instead of just writing out the code, sometimes if you don't know the code representation of something that you want to do, you can always open up the inspector panel and you can take a look at what's happening. So for this player label, padding is being applied on all 4 sides. You can see here, padding is all 4 sides. I can hit X to get rid of the padding. Actually, that deleted it. And I can check just the bottom padding. And I can increase it to 10. So that's just going to pad the CPU. No, it didn't apply it. What did I apply that to? Okay, so you got to be a little careful doing that. Let me just hit X on that. I think I applied it. Sorry, I applied it to this. I'm going to put my cursor over the player label. I'm going to hit bottom. Now you can actually see the code it added padding bottom. And I'm going to increase that to 10. By default, it's 20. Let's refresh it. There we go. So you see 10 right there, and you can see the equivalent code modifier being applied to the player label. Now I can simply copy that and I can paste it for this CPU. There you go. Awesome, that is our UI. Now in order to apply some user interactivity to this button so that we can handle the user tapping on it, we're going to have to learn a little bit of basic Swift code. That's why we're going to take a few lessons to get some basic coding skills, and then we're going to come back to the war card game, apply what we've learned, and bring this app to life. Now, if this is going to be your first time coding, don't be intimidated. I'm going to make this so simple for you to understand, and we are going to erase any fears that you might have. If you're excited, please give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate it. All right, go ahead, click on over there, and I'll see you in the next lesson.